Mayor, City Council, and residents, thank you for taking this time to review the 2023 proposed administration budgets. The Administration Department encompasses activities to support general city operations and services such as City Council governance, human resources, records management, and citywide events and communications. The separate budgets that comprise the Administration Department are Mayor Council, City Manager, City Clerk, Assessing, and Legal Services. As you can see, overall we are proposing a 1.1% reduction when these budgets are combined. This is primarily due to the large reduction in the City Clerk budget because 2023 is an off-election year. Another budget that is separate but managed within the Administration Department is the Cable Television budget. This budget is funded primarily by franchise fees and not general operating levy dollars. Under the Mayor-Council proposed budget, personnel expenses are proposed to be reduced by $11,800 from 2022 to 2023, with a total 2023 amount of $98,000. This budget encompasses the pay, insurance, and para contributions for the Mayor and City Council members. Supplies is proposed to increase minimally from 2022 to 2023. This budget covers expenses for providing community events and includes registration and travel expenses for City Council members to attend state and national training conferences. Other financing includes dues paid to Metro Cities, the League of Minnesota Cities, and the National League of Cities. As shown previously, the overall Mayor-Council budget is proposed to decrease by 2.2% or $4,600 total. This includes a 10.7% reduction in personnel costs, minor increases in supplies and other services, as well as a 12.6% increase to other financing. The decrease in personnel costs is primarily due to changes in councilmember insurance elections. Other financing increase is due largely to increased dues for the League of Minnesota Cities and Metro Cities. The City Manager budget funds salaries for the City Manager, Human Resources Director, Human Resources Technician, and half of the Communications Coordinator and 70% of the Community Engagement Specialist positions. In addition to personnel, the City Manager budget covers the technology and operational needs for those related administrative functions. The proposed 2023 City Manager budget encompasses a $53,300 or 7.7% increase over 2022. However, when legal services and assessing budgets are included in the overall increase, it's $40,900 or 4.1%. Increases to personnel in response to the implementation of the compensation study for administration staff are the largest impact. As noted during the Council approval of the compensation study, the City Manager salary was not adjusted as recommended by this study to try to minimize the impact of the adjustments on taxpayers while ensuring we compensate our frontline and support staff what the market and pay equity standards necessitate. Other changes to the budget include a larger than typical increase in property and liability insurance costs and the addition of $2,000 for a volunteer board and commission member recognition event. The city contracts with Barna Guzzi and Steffen for our legal services. This budget has remained consistent over many years with only minor increases to accommodate additional legal services primarily related to personnel and labor relations. The 2023 budget remains constant with the contract payments, but includes a $5,000 increase due to larger than typical property and liability insurance allocations. The city contracts with Anoka County for our assessing services and has done so for many years. The city was notified in 2022 that the county has found ways to be more efficient in providing this service, and therefore our contract amount has been reduced by $17,400 for 2023. The City Clerk budget funds the City Clerk position as well as the technology and operations for City Council support, records management, and elections. This budget sees the most fluctuation from odd year to even year due to the election cycle. 2022 was an election year, so the budget was about 1/3 larger than the proposed 2023 budget. The overall decrease in 2023 from the 2022 adopted budget is $52,300, or 34.1%. Again, this is due to the fact that 2023 is a non-election year. Personnel saw the largest reduction at 41% because there are no election judge expenses. That being said, $5,100 was included in the 2023 budget to fund a temporary part-time position to provide records management assistance in preparation for the move into the new City Hall space. Supplies also saw a decrease due to the fact that there are no election documents to be printed. The cable television budget is managed by the Communications Coordinator and therefore falls within the administration budget presentation. Overall, the proposed 2023 budget is recommended to be $900 more than the 2022 budget. This is in an effort to continue reducing our reliance on cable franchise fees due to an ongoing reduction in traditional cable subscribers. The 2023 budget shows a shift in fund allocations to aid in minimizing operational reliance on cable fees. There is an increase of $12,300, or 27.2%, due to third-party vendor cost increases for directly related cable activities, such as broadcast and streaming of council and similar meetings, as well as web hosting, archiving, and accessibility services. To offset this and the increased personnel costs, there is a proposed reduction of $19,300, or 43.5%, in transfers out to fund other department operations. This is the end of the administration and cable budget presentations. I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have at this time. In addition, for residents who may be watching this presentation from our website, I have included my direct contact information on the last slide, and I would welcome all input and questions anyone may have. Thank you very much for your time.
In Fund 201, Planning and Inspections, we find the planning, licensing, and building inspection activities of the city. This department is funded through a combination of general fund levy revenue and fees generated from permitting and licensing activities. The primary duties include site and development plan review, planning commission support, comprehensive plan implementation, building plan review, permitting for construction projects, inspection services, and business licensing. This department will see an overall increase in its budget of 9.4% for 2023. Last year's adopted budget for Fund 201 was $440,500. And this year, staff is proposing a budget of $481,900, a difference of $41,400. The city's general fund will continue to support this department with funding for the city planner position. Personnel services will increase by $17,900. This increase is driven by COLA increases and salary adjustments that resulted from the compensation study completed in 2022. The budget for other services and charges will increase by $19,750 to cover the cost of new software that will bring the city's business licensing application process online. Fund 204 covers staffing and operations for the economic development functions of the city on behalf of the Economic Development Authority. The department is funded through a special EDA levy that is separate from the city's general fund. The primary objectives of the department include developing and implementing projects and programs that increase property values and grow the city's tax base, enhance business opportunities, promote business expansion and retention, and promoting housing reinvestment for all types of housing in the city. Overall, the budget for Fund 204 will see an increase of 19%, or $47,200 for 2023. Last year's adopted budget for Fund 204 was $249,900, and this year staff is proposing an overall budget and levy of $297,100, representing an increase of $47,200. The primary driver of the increase is related to personnel services, which will increase by $43,100 to accommodate planned cost of living increases and salary adjustments for the CD director and CD coordinator. Other services and charges will increase by $3,800 to accommodate increased expenses for IT services, software subscriptions, and insurance. Fund 408 represents the city's redevelopment project fund. There are three primary activities supported by this fund. The first is the Facade Improvement Grant Program, which provides grants to small businesses for exterior improvements and surveillance cameras. The second is the Commercial Revitalization Program, which provides funding to acquire legally non-conforming single-family homes that are commercially zoned for redevelopment purposes. And the third activity is the Fire Suppression Grant Program, which helps to fund fire suppression upgrades to the city's older commercial buildings. The 2023 budget proposes to allocate $200,000 for commercial revitalization, $50,000 for facade improvement grants, and $60,000 for the fire suppression program. Fund 228, Downtown Parking, covers the management, operation, and maintenance of the city-owned municipal parking ramp located just west of Central Avenue at 4025 Van Buren Street. This fund budget will see an overall increase of $15,500 or 38%. This increase is being driven by a loss of lease revenue. For several years, the primary user of the ramp had been Fairview Health Services, as the adjacent three-story office building located at 4000 Central Avenue has limited parking and relies on the ramp for nearly all of its parking needs. In September of 2022, Fairview Health terminated their parking agreement with the city and rental payments ceased. Staff will work with new prospective tenants or owners of the building to secure future parking contracts. For 2023, the city's Special Projects Fund 420 will cover the operational costs of the ramp. In addition to the operations and maintenance of the ramp, staff implemented a capital improvement plan for the ramp in 2022 that will continue to run through 2023. The 2022 improvement highlights include new doors, new LED lighting, and a fully upgraded surveillance system. In 2023, there is a planned overhaul of the elevator and concrete repair work for the driving surfaces and stairwells. Funding for these improvements is outside of the annual budget, and several capital resources have been reserved for these activities.
This presentation covers the Finance Division of the 2023 City of Columbia Heights proposed budget. This division's budget includes separate departments for each of the functions listed here on this slide. The Finance Department, Utility Billing, certain general government functions, and municipal liquor. Note, however, that the budget for municipal liquor is explained in a separate presentation available on the city's website. Within the Finance Department of the Finance Division, personnel costs make up over 90% of the budget. This table shows the 4-year trend for expenses of this department. The decrease shown in 2021 reflects restructuring staff in conjunction with the 2021 implementation of modern financial software. The 2022 budget includes a one-time item of $25,000 in other services and charges. This was to obtain additional software enhancements. The 6.3% budget increase shown for 2023 includes a 2.5% cost of living increase in labor agreements, plus the significant change to compensation from the citywide compensation study first implemented in 2022.
Increase in the 2023 budget for utility billing is $50,000 or approximately 11% more than 2022. This increase is primarily from the administrative labor reimbursed to the general fund by the utility funds. This labor increase is caused by the same factors described on the previous slide. Over the past year, the city has significantly expanded the available options for customers to receive bills and pay for a wide range of city services through its website. In many cases, customers can also self-administer their account and their account reminders now. The 2023 budget provides for a continued expansion of these options, with the ability to look up and pay special assessments online beginning in 2023. In addition, the Finance Department has begun issuing vendor payments electronically. Since personnel costs are over 90% of the budget for these two departments of utility billing and finance, efficient use of technology is a key factor in better meeting the community's needs while keeping the budget at a level that is sustainable. For the general government portion of the city's 2023 budget, a 25% decrease is proposed. This primarily reflects a large one-time transfer in 2022 of $341,000 to the Parks Capital Improvement Fund that will not recur in 2023. Other changes in this general government area for 2023 include an increase of $100,000 in the amount transferred annually to the Information Technology Fund as part of the city's 5-year strategic plan for technology. There is also an estimated decrease in occupancy costs following the move to the new City Hall in 2023. The budget for debt service payments on municipal bonds issued by the city is set at the date each bond is originally issued. Payments due in 2023 are included in the 2023 budget for informational purposes and cannot be waived or reduced by council action. Since the city issues bonds to borrow money for a variety of projects, bonds are also repaid with a variety of resources. Currently, the only outstanding bonds that use property tax for repayment are the bonds that financed construction of the public safety and library buildings in 2008 and 2015, respectively. This concludes the presentation of the Finance Division portion of the 2023 proposed budget.
The following is the 2023 proposed budget for the Columbia Heights Fire Department. The 2023 Fire Department budget displays an increase of 7% over the 2022 adopted budget. The lion's share of this increase is a result of negotiated contractual obligations and step increases within the personnel services line item. Additionally, minor increases are proposed in other areas. In 2023, we will continue to focus on our goal of reaching a staffing level of 30 paid-on-call firefighters through recruitment and hiring. The department supplies budget displays a slight increase. This increase is focused on two main areas: expert and professional services and out-of-town travel expenses. The expert and professional services line item is increased to cover expenses related to the psychological and physical exams for the paid-on-call firefighter hiring process. Out-of-town travel expenses is increased by $2,000. This was added so the department can send our training captain to the 2023 Fire Department Instructors Conference in Indianapolis, Indiana. The FDIC is an international fire service conference that thousands of fire and rescue professionals from around the world attend, offers high-quality, world-class instructors, classrooms, and workshop training. Here is an overview of the proposed 2023 Fire Department budget. The 2023 property maintenance budget has an increase of approximately 10% over the previous year's budget. Like the budget on the fire department side, this increase is in the personnel services line item and is a result of negotiated contractual obligations and step increases within personnel services. Here is an overview of the proposed 2023 property maintenance budget.
Hi, my name is Jesse Hoff, and I'm the IT Director for the City of Columbia Heights. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the proposed 2023 budget for the Information Technology Department. The proposed 2023 budget for IT includes a $108,400 or 16.5% increase. This budget increase is in line with year 3 of the city's 5-year strategic technology plan for investing in IT adopted by the City Council in 2021. The largest increase is under personnel with the addition of a new position that I will cover shortly. Supplies appear that they have went down, but much of it has been reclassified under other services and charges. This is a result of the new budget line item software and software services, which much of the tools that IT needs to do its job now fall under. A breakdown of this cost increase shows that the majority is due to the added position of application support technician at $66,800. PIRA, FICA, and work comp for the new and existing staff account for just over $12,000. We have increased our budget for professional services by $10,700. Professional services are our best return on investment when ensuring large complex projects go as smoothly as possible. An example of a 2022 project that used professional services was the migration to O365. In 2023, we plan on having our application support specialists work with OPG3 to develop document retention and integration with Laserfiche. Laserfiche is the city's document management system. The city's strategic technology plan calls for investments in IT. Some of these investments come from software tools accounting for $18,700,000 in the budget increase. Some examples are OBQ for real-time network performance monitoring, a new help desk and service management system to replace our 20-year-old help desk management system, and Microsoft O365. These software items were deployed in 2022, but need to have their reoccurring costs properly budgeted starting in 2023. Funding is provided by a $100,000 tax levy and transfers from internal departments. The IT department was a department of 2 until 2009, when it added a third member and remained a department of 3 until late 2021. The city's strategic technology plan outlined by the Skeen study shows the department is short-staffed. An IT director was formally introduced in late 2021, and a second technician position is planned for 2023. The application support technician complements our current help desk technician position. They will provide support to city staff, but also be able to delve deeper into city-specific application support, growth, and integration. They will also work closely with the engineering's new GIS position to deploy Esri ArcGIS in the city in 2023 and 2024. In 2020, the City Council set out with a very important objective. They recognized the growing importance and reliance on technology. They also realized that the then IS department was understaffed and underfunded. The choice was made to invest in improving technology. A third party, Skeens, developed a strategic technology plan for the City of Columbia Heights. The plan was presented to and adopted by the City Council in 2021. The IT department is currently ahead of schedule in implementing this 5-year plan. This plan, along with the hard work of staff, has increased service levels, and by the start of 2023, will have provided a major overhaul of the city's network, addressed staffing shortage, and increased overall citywide staff mobility. The 2023 budget increase is well within the scope of the 3rd year in this technology plan. Looking forward to the 2023 initiatives related to the strategic technology plan. The IT department adopted a mobile-first initiative in 2022, preparing for any situation by enabling staff to work from home or in the field as needed. We will continue this initiative in 2023 by getting mobile technology in the hands of building inspectors and engineers. Our application support technician will fill the gap in IT, being able to support the wide range of city-specific applications and improving their integration. Engineering will be onboarding a GIS specialist in 2023 to greatly expand the city's use of graphical information and plotting the city's civil data. The application support technician position will ensure GIS integration with IT. An IT governance committee formed from city staff will meet several times a year to guide the direction and the use of city's technological assets. We'll be improving internal and external policies such as bring in your own device, acceptable use, patch management, change management, IT standards, and physical site access. Currently, The IT Capital Fund has no clear designation. Moving forward, IT will budget a transfer to the Capital Equipment Fund each year to sustain the replacement of major capital equipment. It can be used in emergency for equipment failure or to budget for equipment replacement. Thank you for viewing the City of Columbia Heights IT Department 2023 budget presentation. Again, my name is Jesse. Please do not hesitate to reach out with any questions. Cheers.
Mayor, members of council, residents. I'm Library Director Renee Doherty with the proposed 2023 budget. The Library Board has established mission and vision statements to guide library service in the city. So how's it going at the library? The following graphs show 5 key performance measures during the past 4 years. The gold line at the top is 2019. 2020 is in white and reflects the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Gray is 2021, when the library began incrementally re-establishing programs and services, and the brown is 2022. Visits to the library are still 60% of what they were in 2019. However, use has been steadily increasing since early 2021. Library programs have been delivered in multiple formats during this period, ranging from live, in-person, to virtual via Zoom, to socially distanced outdoor events, to pre-recorded videos and self-directed activities which people engage at their own pace on their own schedule. Library programs have seasonal ebbs and flows. In summer, most are intended for out-of-school youth, with spring and fall featuring adult classes. Although staff have been steadily increasing the numbers of programs offered, attendance has not yet returned to pre-pandemic levels. We continue to see lots of registrations, but then a large percentage of no-shows. Similarly, amount of time spent on library computers is still about half of pre-COVID totals. Circulation is on track to surpass the 2019 baseline. Current circulation is roughly 80% physical materials and 20% digital. The board continues to discuss and eliminate barriers to increase use, to enhance customer experience, and to boost value. In 2022, this included increasing time limits on computers, eliminating overdue fines, removing rental fees for borrowing new release DVDs, and implementing auto-renewal for many borrowed items, which began November 1st. Staff have focused on new partnerships to enrich library user experience with no-cost educational resources and new programs. We partnered with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency to host 2 traveling displays. The first demonstrated ways to conserve water and save money by fixing leaks. The second featured information about pollinators and their vital importance to businesses, agriculture, and homeowners. We began working with the Department of Natural Resources in June to offer free state park passes for checkout. This program pairs the DNR objective of bringing more people, especially those with lower incomes, to state parks with the library's mission of providing access to resources. We worked with DEED to create a career force corner with resources for job seekers, to offer resume classes, and to give away flash drives to people using library computers to search for work and apply for jobs. We teamed with the school to provide lunches for kids on summer program days, and with Every Meal to distribute free meal bags during August when families don't have free and reduced price school lunches. The proposed 2023 budget includes a 5% increase over adopted 2022. The increase is most apparent in personal services to implement recommendations of the citywide compensation study. All part-time staff received pay increases and were reset to step 1 of a 6-tier pay scale, so I anticipate increases in this section of the budget to continue for the next 5 years. To partially offset increases in 2023, total estimated hours were adjusted using prior year actuals. It is almost impossible to find alternate coverage when a part-timer is out sick, so I eliminated a pool of substitute hours for pages. Hours for the aide and library supervisors were slightly increased to ensure adequate building coverage, especially during approved leaves for full-time staff. Supplies shows a decrease from 2022 levels because the current year includes a one-time expense for upgrading public computers. Slight adjustments were made to individual lines within this section to reflect recent actual expenditures. Other services and charges includes anticipated increases for property and liability insurance, utilities, repair and maintenance contracts for library automation and building equipment, and support of information technology. An increase for the library's share of city administrative staff is reflected in contingencies and transfers. Most of the support for the library comes from the tax levy, although the revenue expense breakdown shown here includes additional anticipated revenue from printing and copying, fines for lost and damaged items, sales of flash drives, earbuds, and discarded materials, community room rentals, and a transfer in from the cable fund. Thank you.
This presentation explains the City of Columbia Heights 2023 municipal liquor budget. The operating section of the municipal liquor budget includes the activities of the city's 3 stores. Store number 1 on Central Avenue. Store number 2 at the southeast corner of the city. And the recently remodeled Store 3 at the northwest corner of the city. The actual and budgeted trend in sales and gross profit before operating expenses is shown on this slide. This reflects a 2021 recovery in sales volume and gross profit, following a downturn in 2020 due to store closures and staff shortages from the COVID-19 pandemic and civil unrest. For the 9 months of 2022 completed at the time of this video, actual sales were also up from the first 9 months of 2021. This was due to both Store 3 being closed for remodeling for part of 2021 and to overall growth in sales in 2022. This slide shows the budgeted change in store operating expenses for next year. The 2.6% overall increase includes a 3.1% increase in personnel and a smaller increase in non-personnel costs. The reduction in supply costs shown here reflects that none of the store's computers are scheduled for replacement in 2023. The 3.1% increase in personnel cost is from the combination of factors listed on this slide. It is important to note that the 2% reduction in budgeted part-time hours listed here does not reflect a reduction in actual staffing at the stores. It is instead the result of more precise budgeting methods available for 2023 than in prior years. Today's technology continues to transform how retailers interact with their customers. A recent example of this in the city's municipal liquor operation is the use of the Google service called Pointy, which allows Google users to safely browse the store's inventory database online to search for products. The store also makes use of a cost-efficient web-based advertising to likely customers. Currently, store management is reviewing the options available for implementing online ordering with a possible rollout in 2023.
Annually, the net income from liquor operations funds the type of non-operating items listed on this slide in the amounts shown. The annual debt service, the largest of these items, runs for approximately another 6 years. In addition to the annual budget discussed thus far in the video, it is important to note that there is also a separate but related project budget. In February 2022, the City Council approved the purchase of the former Heartland Tire property on University Avenue as an expansion of Liquor Store 3. As you can see from the photograph here, the 2 buildings share a common wall. In June 2022, the City Council authorized an initial project budget of $250,000 to convert the new property for store use. Currently, inventory storage and the manager's office are located in the basement of Store 3. Relocating these to the new space will eliminate the day-to-day use of the stairs in 2023. Long-term plans include using the new space to replace the walk-in cooler, which is nearing the end of its service life within a few years. This concludes the presentation on the municipal liquor portion of the City of Columbia Heights 2023 budget. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, included in these upcoming slides is an overview of the proposed 2023 Police Department budget. The proposed 2023 budget is $695,800, or 12% more than the 2022 proposed budget. This follows a 1.4% increase from the 2021 budget to the current 2022 police operating budget. There are a couple of main reasons for this increase. 1/3 of the 2023 increase is due to the industry-wide increases that police departments are seeing in workers' compensation premiums. The workers' comp rates have risen dramatically in the state of Minnesota. The 2023 rate is budgeted for $336,600. For comparison, the 2022 budgeted amount was $112,500. The workers' comp rate has tripled for law enforcement throughout the state of Minnesota due to COVID-19 and PTSD claims that have increased dramatically. Also for 2023, police department overtime is budgeted at $200,000. This will more accurately reflect actual overtime costs. For example, in a comparison, 2021 actual overtime costs were $230,550. Much of our mandated training is conducted off-duty to reduce the impact of the patrol schedule, and a portion of the budgeted amount of overtime goes to cover those costs. Also, court pay has also now been included in the overtime budget. Also for 2023, per the officers' union contract, the senior officer on a shift will now receive officer in charge pay when no sergeant is on duty. This is a new change and has not been budgeted for in previous operating budgets. $8,000 was budgeted to cover the cost of this new expense. Apart from the increase in workers' comp, personnel costs increased by 6%. This includes a 2.5% cost of living increase to all staff and a cumulative increase of 3.5% to adjust for various positions per the citywide compensation study. Office supplies increased by $2,000 to account for purchases that were formerly coded to the computer supplies line item. $14,500 was budgeted for the anticipated purchase of 5 laptops plus miscellaneous equipment has also been budgeted for in this line item for 2023. The uniforms line item also increased from $33,500 to $40,000 to cover the anticipated increase in costs of outfitting officers and staff. Due to the anticipated higher fuel costs, gas, oil, and lubricants is budgeted for $60,800, which is a $20,800 increase compared to the 2022 budgeted amount. The city has just renewed its contract with Axon. This is a 5-year contract at a cost of $515,000. To offset the increase to this contract, $250,000 was paid out of the 2022 Police Department operating budget. The remaining contract costs will be increased incrementally over the next 5 years. Under expert and professional services, the police department is budgeting $138,000, which is a $32,000 increase over the 2022 budgeted amount. This is due to increases in the shared costs of the Anoka County Public Safety Data System, fees associated with the police hiring process, and increases to our counseling services that are part of the police department's wellness initiatives. Training is budgeted at $46,000, which is an $8,000 increase over 2022. Training continues to be a critical part of any police department, and ensuring that officers are properly trained is part of our police department's strategic plan. Educational reimbursement is budgeted for $21,000, which is an increase of $15,000 over 2022. This will cover potential reimbursement of up to $7,500 each for the cost of the required police skills course for CSOs who become police officers and agree to work as a police officer for the Columbia Heights Police Department for up to 3 years. Under capital equipment for 2023, the police department is requesting the purchase of 2 hybrid Explorers to be used as marked patrol vehicles. At the time of this submission, the estimated cost is $39,808 for each hybrid Explorer. It should be noted that these costs are estimates. The vehicle market is very volatile right now, so it is unclear what the exact dollar amount will be for these vehicles at this time. The police department is also budgeting $60,000 for a Ford Mach-E unmarked squad to replace an older unmarked vehicle. E-vehicles are starting to be integrated into police departments, and this will be the police department's first opportunity at utilizing an all-electric vehicle. It is anticipated that this vehicle will stay in the fleet for a longer period of time. In 2022, the police department is budgeted for 2 hybrid Explorers to be used as marked patrol vehicles and 1 Ford F-150 to be used as a marked CSO vehicle. Unfortunately, these orders were canceled by Ford due to supply chain issues. In 2023, we are also planning on purchasing these additional vehicles that were originally planned for in 2022. Some considerations for 2023 and beyond. The census data shows that the city population has increased to almost 22,000. That is an increase of almost 2,000 when compared to the 2010 census. We are also expecting the population to increase even more with additional housing developments that are planned for the city. Also, since 2018, our calls for service have increased by approximately 15%. We will continue to evaluate how increasing calls for service, along with recruitment and retention challenges, affect public safety and call load. Also, historically, many violent crimes in Anoka County are investigated by the Anoka County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Division. In the future, we will be reevaluating our protocols for determining which cases are referred to CID for investigation, with an eye towards handling additional cases in-house. By doing this, we will better be able to serve our crime victims, reduce crime, and increase livability in our community. Public safety continues to see increasing challenges in an ever-changing environment. The skills and knowledge required to effectively deal with these challenges require ongoing training and education in several disciplines. The training needs for the police department will continue to evolve, and the police department will continue to review our training needs as requirements and best practices continue to change. Also, the Department of Justice grant for the Embedded Social Worker Co-Responder is set to expire at the end of 2023. This program, with 2 social workers through Canvas Health, has been one of the most impactful programs that the police department has implemented. It has been extremely beneficial to our staff and, more importantly, the citizens of Columbia Heights. We are hopeful that there will be grant funding opportunities in the future for these positions. If, for some reason, there are no external funding opportunities beyond 2023, we will be having discussions with city leadership about funding for this program for 2024 and beyond. And lastly, the Columbia Heights Police Department would like to thank Mayor Marquez Simula and the members of the City Council for their ongoing support. We truly couldn't do it without your support with everything that we do. We have worked very hard to build relationships in the community, and we will continue to focus our efforts on community policing in an effort to reduce crime, increase public safety, as well as continue to increase the public's trust.
Welcome to an overview of the proposed budget for Public Works for 2023. Public Works staffing. In 2022, Public Works operated with 34 full-time staff and 5 part-time staff. Of that 5 part-time staff, 4 of those were custodians. In 2023, we are asking for the addition of 1 maintenance worker to fill a need. This would be a divided position where half of it would be for light duty mechanic work, and then the other half would be primarily in our parks department, and that's really to help with the loss of seasonal staff that we've seen over the last several years. Additionally, we intend on filling an open position we have in the engineering department with our engineering tech 4 surveyor position. Training will be a focus in 2023 due to the really the experience level of the department. We're a fairly young department in terms of years of service here at Columbia Heights. So we have 5 of 22 maintenance workers that have just started or have less than 1 year of experience. 12 of 22 have less than 6 years, and 2 of our 3 supervisors have less than 5 years as superintendent. The budget goal for 2023 in the Public Works Department was a 2.5% increase from prior year level. That was generally attained through each of the 14 departments. The primary reason for higher than that increases was due to personnel, and this was due to labor contracts, which are really twofold. One is for step movement, as I had indicated, we're a young department, and the other one is a result of the 2022 compensation study. So the 2023 proposed Public Works operating budget is at $13.8 million, and this is comprised of 14 operating departments, and these are supported by either general funds, enterprise funds, and state aid funds. In addition to that, the Public Works Department also operates a capital improvement area, and then also capital equipment replacement fund, in addition to the normal operating funds. In Public Works, the engineering department, street lighting department, traffic signs and signals department, Parks Department, and Urban Forestry Department are all supported through general funds. As I had indicated, if you take out the personnel section of each of these departments, our operating projections were at 2.5%. For example, in our streets department, 131,300 of their increase is resulting from personnel cost increases. That leaves 23,900 as an operating increase, and that equates to a 2.5% increase. Similarly, in our urban forestry department, we had 26,200 relating to personnel cost increases, and that leaves $6,400 related to just normal operating cost increases, which is 2.5%. Enterprise funds in Public Works are supported through user fees. These user fees can be from external or from internal sources. The externally sourced or user rate supported departments are the city's water fund, the city's sanitary sewer fund, the city's refuse fund, and the city's stormwater fund. Internally supported enterprise fund areas are the city's central garage, which takes care of all of the city's equipment, and then also our building maintenance department, which takes care of the operation and maintenance of the city's buildings. There are 2 areas I'd like to point out as it relates to enterprise supported funds. 2 of these funds, our water fund and sanitary sewer fund, have costs attributed to outside agency. For the water fund, approximately 58% of this budget is attributed to water that we purchase from the city of Minneapolis. And for our sanitary sewer fund, approximately 59% of this departmental cost is attributed to sanitary sewer disposal. I think a primary thing to point out for our enterprise funds is what's going to be starting in 2023 in our refuse department, and that's transition. So the waste management contract for 5 years concluded in 2022. That was not renewed. The city did enter into a contract with a Walters and Hallstar, a joint venture, to provide waste pickup and then also recycling. Other services provided through this department, namely bulky pickup and then also yard waste, are currently under contract with other vendors. So 2023 will be an important year for us as we transition away from waste management and begin operations under Walters Hallstar contract. I think it's important to note here too, as we did anticipate a significant cost increase from what we're seeing in the marketplace, and also resulting in a budgetary increase of about 20% in our refuse department. The city's state aid maintenance department provides maintenance on state aid roadways in the city, and those also include the cost share that we have for the operation of traffic signals along primary corridors, which include Central Avenue and University Avenue. The city's infrastructure improvement fund basically pays for the city's share of street rehab program, our annual program for street improvements. Both of these funds are primarily funded through the city's state aid account through MnDOT. Within our infrastructure department in 2023, we will be focusing on two primary projects. These are both state aid projects. That's the reconstruction of 37th Avenue from Central over to Stinson Boulevard, and the either reconstruction and or rehab of 53rd Avenue from Central over to University Avenue. I'll talk more about each of those projects in a future slide. The replacement of equipment in Public Works and generally for the city is funded through the city's Capital Equipment Replacement Fund. Public Works operates on a 5-year capital equipment replacement projection, which is updated annually. Capital improvements include the rehabilitation or replacement of infrastructure or municipal buildings. Public Works also prepares a 5-year CIP or capital improvement plan for infrastructure and buildings, and that is updated on a 5-year cycle. Funding for capital improvements comes from a variety of sources as shown on this screen. Public Works has 4 pieces of equipment we are looking to replace in 2023. The first of these is a dump truck. This would be the third of 5 dump trucks for replacement that we have in our fleet. I would note that we've seen significant price increases for this type of equipment. The last dump truck we had was at about $235,000 about 3 years ago, and we're now looking at about $300,000 for this replacement. The next piece of equipment for replacement in 2023 is one of our MT trackless units. This is a center articulating piece of equipment that has a variety of attachments on the front end. This one is housed in our Parks department. The third piece of equipment for 2023 in Public Works for replacement is a Toro Groundsmaster. We're looking at replacing this with a Ventrac unit, which would improve the Public Works operation and versatility for the intended use. The last piece of equipment proposed for 2023 is the replacement of a front plow for our front end loader. This would replace that with a Metal Plus box plow, which would improve plowing operations by saving time and give our staff more versatility in their plowing operations. Capital improvements for 2023. As I had previously indicated, we will be taking off the next 3 years off of our annual street rehab program to focus on either major state aid improvements or a alley program replacing our deteriorated alleys with concrete alleys. For 2023, the first large state aid project that we have is the reconstruction of 37th Avenue from Central over to Stinson. This work involves the complete reconstruction of the existing concrete surface, narrowing the roadway from 44 to 28 feet wide, and then putting new pedestrian facilities in, a new trail on the north side and a new sidewalk on the south side. It also includes some extensive green infrastructure, and what I mean by that is using natural features to treat stormwater runoff. This can be through, examples of this would be through tree trenches or through rain gardens. The next state aid project we have for 2023 is either the reconstruction or the rehabilitation of 53rd Avenue from Central over to University Avenues. This work will be split into 2 projects simply due to the funding sources. The first project would be a turnabout and center median provided from Central Avenue to just about where the east property line of Sullivan Lake Park is. And the next project would be from continuing from the turnabout project at Sullivan over to University Avenue. Both of these projects would include pedestrian facilities with new concrete sidewalk on the north side and then a new trail on the south side. Utility work planned for 2023 includes 2 projects. The first of these, which is not shown on a map, is a water main replacement on 53rd Avenue, being incorporated into that project from 5th to 6th Street due to breakage and then also to the burial depth of 4 feet. And then the second project is shown on this map, and that is sanitary sewer lining from 37th Avenue up to 44th Avenue. And this is a continuation of the sewer rehab program began in 2022, where the manholes were replaced in the same segment length along with pipe repairs along the segment. Facilities for 2023. The first of these is obviously our new City Hall. Work on that began in October of 2022, and it's anticipated that construction will be complete in or around May of 2023. With that, the entire existing City Hall staff will move into this new facility, along with Public Works Administration moving into the new City Hall space. The other project we have in 23 related to facilities is a planning effort and really a continuation of the master plan that was accepted by the City Council in 2022 for the replacement of our Public Works facility. In 2023, City staff will be working on funding scenarios for the replacement of this building at a future date. That concludes the Public Works presentation of our 2023 proposed budget.
This is the Recreation Department budget for 2023. I am Keith Winshuttle, Recreation Director for the city. This slide is the Recreation Department overview. For 2023, the recreation budget has had an overall increase of $89,400 or approximately 9.75% increase. Most of these increases are salary adjustments that were made after the staff wage comparison study that was approved by the City Council. Fringe had significant increases for 2023, and there were a couple of changes that were streamlined to make the Recreation Department budget a little more easier to manage. Those were the trips and outings budget has been added to our senior program budget, and the youth athletics, adult athletics, and traveling athletics were all merged to create one budget called athletics. This slide is a couple of photos from our summer youth program. The first one is our girls fast pitch softball team, and the second one is a picture of our summer rec youth park programs. Recreation budget highlights. Fireworks increased from $6,000 to $8,000. Information systems increased $3,100 to total $27,500. Building maintenance is budgeted at $10,400. Building maintenance contracted services has increased by $4,400. Immersion Hall budget receives a credit of $65,700 from other Recreation Department budgets. Immersion Hall budget has had an increase of $36,500 for wage adjustments to the caretaker positions. Below is a breakdown of the yearly wages. For 2022, it was estimated that we'd have 4,500 hours of caretaker. The average hourly wages were $15, and the total wages for 22 were $67,500. For 2023 budget, the estimated hours are 4,004, with an average hourly wage of just under $26, for a total for the year for 23 is $104,000. This slide is an estimated Immersion Hall space allocation. This basically breaks down the amounts that are charged to the recreation specific departments for Immersion Hall space that is utilized by those departments. The total credit for Immersion Hall is $65,700. This photo is a picture of our youth fall soccer program. And that concludes the 2023 Recreation Department budget. Thank you.